Hey guys, let me ask you a question. Are you a goal setter? Do you love to set goals? Maybe you're a New Year's resolution person. You love to do those New Year's resolutions. And do you actually make them happen? I'm not sure. I've never been great with New Year's resolutions. But today I want to talk about goal setting, and specifically goal setting for 2024 as an interior designer or decorator. I've just spent the last week creating a 2024 goals plan. And what I wanted to do is really tell you why I think this is something that you could consider doing, because it can take all those shiny objects that are flying around in your world and help you to categorize and condense them down into tangible kind of goals that you can aim for. And in my goal plan, I'm aiming every quarter to achieve some really cool stuff. So I want to talk to you all about that today. Let's have a good old chat about it. Hey you, it's Adam Scougall of the So You Want to Be an Interior Designer podcast. I am so happy to have you here. Yes, I've hit 10 episodes and you know what, really pleased to be getting to this point. It's actually 3 months into the podcast and we're almost at the end of season 1 as well. So season 1, I've just been talking to you every kind of week or so. Just telling you what's going on with me and helping you get to know me, and I guess me getting to know you, because you guys are taking my survey and giving me feedback every week, which is a really cool thing. So if you would like to take my survey, go to soyouwanttobeaninteriordesigner.tv/quiz. I created this survey for people that, you know, need some help in their interior design or decorating business. You might be a brand new newbie, or you might have been around for a little while, could even be a few years, but you find you're struggling in certain areas. So I created this quiz. The feedback here is really on point, if I have to say so myself, and there's been a lot of themes coming through in the feedback I'm getting from you guys, so which I'm going to address on the podcast. So if you would like to take it, go ahead and do it. It just takes 2 minutes. So you want to be an interior designer.tv/quiz, and you can go and take the quiz. So I better tell you who this podcast was really designed for as well. So this show was created for mid-career interior design or decorating solopreneurs that need support in building their own interior design businesses whilst they're still working 9 to 5. I think that keeping your job for as long as you possibly can is a great thing. Really diversifying your income is what I suggest, when you're working as an interior designer, and especially as a solopreneur. My aim is to help you balance your time and make more money whilst being able to choose the projects that you want to work on rather than just the ones that you feel you have to take on. So that's really who this is aimed for. But pleased to have you wherever you're watching from or you're listening from. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave a review. I'd love to get a review from you and get your feedback there. If you're watching me over on YouTube, please jump on, give me a comment and like and subscribe. It's super important. Today though, guys, I'm talking about goals, and I haven't really worked with a solid plan for goals for, I would say, a few years, but I had so many different things that I've learnt recently. I've talked to you guys about the Luan Live conference I did recently. I've got a different attitude, plan of attack, different perspectives, different values that I want to work on, and things I want to create, different values that I want to work on. I mean, I've got values. I don't know if they're different, but I've got a whole lot of things I want to really create in 2024. So the best thing to do is to create a 2024 goal setting or plan. So that's what I'm doing. So that's what I want to talk about. So what I want to do is talk to you about how I created this. So what I did and what I'd recommend you do if you'd like to create goals for 2024 is, number one, start with big benchmark goals. Now, as I was just saying, I had a lot of different ideas coming around. I'd had some fantastic sessions at this recent conference in Orlando, and I really wanted to sort of be able to organize these things into tangible ways that I can set goals and achieve them every quarter. But what I had to do before I could even look at quarter is I had to look at the big benchmark goals. So what are your benchmark goals for next year? I mean, the big ticket stuff. What could be, say, the top 3 things that you want to achieve in 2024? That's a good place to start. Now, for me, I have a few goals, and they've sort of landed themselves into what I'd call benchmark goals. I'm going to share those with you. So You know what it is I'm talking about. First thing I want to do is grow my email list and have all of you guys coming in that are doing that survey come into one specific email list that I've just set up so that I can continue to communicate with you and share really helpful things with you that are going to help you with certain elements of what came through in that survey. Now, there are trends coming through from this quiz, the quiz that I'm talking about, which is the one I mentioned before, and a lot of them have to do with, confidence. A big one is marketing. People are feeling like they're flailing when it comes to marketing. And then, there's all sorts of things that are coming through. Pricing, knowing how to price, knowing how to market's probably the biggest one. So what I want to do is get more and more of you guys coming through that have done that quiz so I can start to really work out what am I going to talk about on this podcast every week? What do people want to hear as opposed to what I want them to hear or what I think they want to hear? And then, where else can this go? One of the things I'm an advocate for is coaching. So the other thing that I want to do by getting you guys coming through and absolutely being able to communicate with you via email is let you know when I start to offer my coaching packages, which I'm going to start probably in June 2024. So what I've done is I've realized that I wanted to continue to grow the podcast. I want to be able to communicate with you guys and get real information from you and be able to help you. So the way that I do that is really continue the podcast, make sure this quiz is up and running. And then there's some other things there that I'm going to work on that's going to help me to increase that and help that happen faster, which I'll talk about either today or at a later stage. So at the moment, it's slow and steady, but one thing I want to do is work out how to amp up the amount of people coming through so that I have more of you guys that I can chat to. The other thing is I want to establish a set of beta clients that come through that coach with me for a 3-month period. And this all is going to happen before the launch in June. So I've already been speaking to people. I would like to propose to them to be part of my beta coaching program. Beta just means it's like a trial period. And normally, the cost of the program when it launches in June is going to be one price. And when you're going through a beta program, which is really, allows a coach like me to test it, it's a much lower price point. It's could be a third less or 2/3 less than the actual price of the program when it officially launches. So I want to get some people in before June next year. I'm looking to kick that off in Jan. You might want to speak to me if you'd like to be one of those people. But the whole idea is I've got lots of great ideas, lots of stuff I've learned from coaches, lots of stuff that I have learned myself that I want to be able to teach people in this intensive sort of 3-month period. So that is a goal for me too. These are the big goals. I've got the coaching, the official launch in June, but I've got to do some stuff before that so I get results that I can publish so that everybody knows that this program actually yields results that are tangible. That's super important. So that's in my goals. I'm really excited about that. I want to travel again. I've just been to the US. I'd love to go to High Point in the US where it's like the biggest furniture market. I think it's probably the biggest furniture, accessories, lighting, whatever else fair in the world, art, all sorts of things. It's like the biggest possible event. It's in High Point, North Carolina. So that happens twice a year. I probably wouldn't be able to go until it happens in October. But how much is that going to cost me? And I like to fly economy. I like to, be closer to the front of the plane. So what I want to say is, how does that work? If I'm going to achieve that, what does that look like? What's it going to cost me? And there you go. That's part of the plan. Then the one thing I want to say about planning for 2024 that I've found effective is I've got work. I've got to make sure that my day job is bubbling and working really well. And I don't have any qualms about telling everybody I work in a really great corporate role at the moment. I'm doing that at the moment and have been for the last couple of years. And I've still, I'm working with that. I'm working with the creative and I'm working with the personal. So I've got to think about work, one column, creative in another, and personal. My creative is that I'm planning on doing a lot more video interviews with people that we all know, people in the industry that we know and love. So I want to do things like that. And then on the personal side, I'd like to be able to plan each weekend. So I've got really specific things that I've slotted in. Coffee with that awesome guy or chick on a Saturday morning that, doesn't generally happen. Like, I want to make sure it's in there. Am I going to get a massage on a Saturday afternoon so I'm nice and relaxed for Saturday evening if I'm chilling out at home? These are the type of things that I'm putting in there, and they're really fun to put in. Point 2, if I've mentioned this, have I mentioned this already? Well, it's really important. Break all of this down. We've got all this high level stuff, but we now need a plan to break it down so it's not that far away in terms of achieving. So what I want to suggest you do, and I'm doing, point number 2, is break it down into 3-month segments. So now that I've got all these big goals, I want to break them down per quarter. Now, I really, Jan, February, March, I've got as I said to you, I've got my work goals, creative and personal. In January, for example, I might have 2 work goals, 2 creative goals for the month, and 2 personal goals, whatever they are. But I don't want to overcram each month, but I do want to have specific things in there that align with where I'm going, say mid-year or by end of year. The other thing I was about to just say to you is my brother recently introduced me to a really basic but awesome idea, which is you have a whiteboard. I've got it in my kitchen. And on the whiteboard, you have something called backlog, to do, doing, and done. And what that board, or that idea for that board, is, I think it's called a Kanban board. I think they also call it a Scrum board. I'm sorry, Ryan, if I got that wrong. But all it does is allows you've got Post-its sitting next to this board. You've got a marker, which, you can wipe off. It's a black marker that actually, you can, if you write something on there, you can wipe it off. And then, so you've got the Post-it notes, you've got the columns. Now, if I've got some new idea that I want to do, or I've got an idea in the future that I want to do, like I might want to have a membership site for designers where they come in and they can access different templates and contracts and things. It might be a monthly fee that is charged, and I'll go in there, do Q&As, create this library of different tools for them. Now, that's something that's kind of something, it's not on my radar for 2024, but it is something I'd like to do. So, for example, I would write membership site on the Post-it, and I'd put it into backlog, because I'm not even going to look at that, I don't know, it could be 6 months. Maybe it might even be until later next year, if at all. But there's a column, the second column is to do. So what are the things? I've got my goals there. What am I going to do? And what can I put in the to-do list? So to do might be that I'm planning season 2 of my podcast, which means I'll be spending time, for me, it could be a Saturday, Sunday, or an evening or a morning. There's lots of different opportunities I can take, where I can actually plan out the episodes. And that's something that I do need to do. I need to know exactly who's going to be on the show Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, because it's going to be moved to interview format where I actually have people on the show rather than just me. So that's happening from season 2. That's in my to-do column. So you can see how this works. What are the stuff you'd like to have in your backlog column? What's the stuff you'd like in your to-do column? Next is doing, and this is great. In my doing column this week, I had write new copy for refreshed website. So I just refreshed my website. It's adamscougall.com. The coaching page is still yet to come next week, but I've got all this new stuff on there. The podcast is now integrated into my adamscougall.com site. But in my to-do list, I had, fix web copy, and whatever else was happening in there that I needed to do. Now, once I did that, I've moved it into the next column, which is done. So it's backlog, to do, doing, and done. It's called a Kanban board. Now, this is not technically part of your goals, but it's a tool that you can integrate into what you're doing on a weekly basis. That's super easy. It's just a Post-it note, and you just move things around. There's a real sense of achievement at doing that and seeing all the Post-its and seeing them move between columns. I've had this board up for about a month, and I'm really engaged in it. I'm kind of obsessed with moving these Post-its around. But look, that's one thing you can do to support your goal planning. But yeah, so you can see also how that helped me, or is helping me, continue on my quarterly plan, which was point 2 about breaking down your 2024 goals into 3-month segments. I think that's doable, achievable, and a good way to look at goals. The final thing, number 3, that I want to suggest you do, because I've realized over the years that it is something that's been a problem for me, is don't create too many things in your goal plan. Don't create too many. Now, I have started on goal planning before, and I've jammed in all of these million different things, and you know what? Not achieved most of them. In fact, the whole goal plan in the past, when it hasn't worked for me, has been because I put so many things in there that I've overwhelmed, and the whole thing disappears. I don't even look at goals, and then I get confused because, again, I don't really know what I'm focusing on next every quarter. So my advice to me, advice to you is don't create too many. And I haven't. January, February, March, quarter one, I've just got, my 3 segments: work, creative, personal, and just 2 things in there every month. But do you know what? After I did my analysis of what I wanted to achieve in 2024, it actually became quite doable. Well, it is quite doable to me. And also, you want to look at a plan. I've done a really fun one in Canva with, different photos and colors. It's kind of like a vision board, but it's super tailored in terms of time frames, which if we don't give ourselves time frames, how can we even sort of get to where we want to go? So I would say, just stick with, say, 2 action items under each category. Now, you may have 5 categories, I've just got the 3: work, creative, and personal. But, there's things in there that are really key. I just want to say the personal side of things, one of the things as well I'll be doing is scheduling time, and I'm getting off topic with the business side of things specifically, but sending thank you notes, like and this is going to be just a reoccurring one every month. Who can I send thank you notes to and tell them how much I appreciate them? It's got nothing to do with business. Or tell them how much I appreciate what they did for me, 2 years ago when I had an awareness about something that changed my life. Now, this is just random, what I consider to be a random act of kindness, acknowledgement. And I know that every time I've done this, and I do it occasionally, the way that I feel when I get this warm, reciprocated feedback from the person I've done that to really touches me, and it really makes me feel good. So that's one of the things in there, that whether it's a business thank you or whether it's a personal, it's something that I've done ad hoc before, but it's something that I want to put in there as something that I tick off, because I know it sounds very regimented to do it this way, but all it is really being organised. And unless we're organised, I've realised, unless I'm organised, I'm not able to achieve these things that I find really meaningful. What I'm just talking about there is nurturing my relationships in life. And I'm turning a big birthday soon. And I'm probably getting a little bit more aware of the value of people in my life. So that big birthday is happening. It's early. It's actually February 1st next year. But that's in my personal column too, actually, for Jan. I'm turning the big 50. Look, it is what it is. And I want to do something with some friends of mine, but I don't even know what it is. And I don't want it to be anything flash. I just want it to be easy, that people can come and say hello if they want to, have a drink, have a bit to eat. And then that's it. It needs to be easy, not expensive, and just a event where I can celebrate with just a few close people that I love. And I haven't worked it out yet, so that's a personal goal that's in there. But how do I feel with this plan that I've created? I feel really good. I'm so enthused about where I'm going next year, and I'm putting things in. And instead of going, I might I'll see how I go next year with planning this other trip, for example, if it's High Point or whatever, I'm not sure. Instead, what I'm doing is, okay, well, what is it going to cost? How am I going to budget for that, or where's the money coming from for that? Do I need to do some different things to get some additional income in there? And if it's not on the goal plan and it's not there, then I can't possibly think to myself about how I'm going to investigate the costs and plan and work out how I'm going to pay for whatever it is I'm going to do, for example. So, doing this exercise in the last week's been really fun. I've got, plans for new videos. I've got a couple of projects that I did recently that I've recorded video for, but there's been no, completed video documentary that I've done on say a project I did at Gladesville this year. So it's about putting that video together. I've got that planned in for January, and maybe creating segments of that I can put on Instagram and YouTube. So breaking it up into different sections. That's something in my to-do list. It's creative, but it's also work as well. So I'm kind of moving things around as I see fit in these columns, and definitely using my Kanban board, which is that, the just the board up in my kitchen with the Post-it notes, the board that you wipe down. So really, really cool, fun stuff. I'm excited about next year. I hope that you're excited to create 2024 goals. And if you've got things you want to achieve and you're not setting goals for yourself for 2024, I hope you found what I've mentioned somewhat inspiring and potentially something that you'll consider for yourself. So on that note, I'm going to finish up with there. But what I want to say to you is I believe in you. I think that you've taken the right step. If you're an interior designer or decorator, or you're considering doing that, there's a reason for that. The creative side of what we're doing adds so much value to the people in our lives, in our clients' lives. And, to be able to do that for people that really, really value us and appreciate what we're doing is a wonderful box to have ticked in life. You're giving back to people. It's stuff that means a lot to people. I'm a residential interior decorator, designer, so I deal with people in that way, just to put that into perspective. But however you're doing it, you're adding value, and don't let any of the difficulties in life, if they're feeling difficult at the moment, get you down. If you ever want to have a chat to me, or if you would like to talk to me about being in my beta program, which kicks off in January, email me, adam@adamscougall.com. And if you would like to take my quiz, take the quiz. There's some great insight in there that I know will help you if you're flailing in any area. It is So You Want to Be an Interior Designer.tv/quiz. And as I said, it only takes a couple of minutes. And the feedback there is quite lengthy for you. You get your own email, and you've got information in there that I want you to use. If you're not achieving, say, in the marketing side, or could even be the self-assurance side. Anyway, too much information. I've loved having you on episode 10, and until the next time that we meet, bye for now, and take it easy. Ciao.